Hey guys! So today I have a first impression on the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. Now I have wanted this for a couple weeks or months now. I just have never got around to actually picking it up, and I went to my local grocery store and they had this and I was like, finally I can get my hands on it. I've heard really good things about this sponge. I love the Real Techniques line. I think that Sam and Nick Chapman did a really great job on the Real Technique brushes. I own pretty much all of the Real Technique brushes from their line, and I think they're just absolutely fantastic. They're affordable and fantastic. So I really wanted to give this sponge a try because I've heard really good things about it. I know Casey Holmes did a first impression on it and she said that this was definitely the closest she has ever gotten to the Real Beauty Blender, and it just works really amazing. So this is what it looks like. It looks pretty big. I'm going to open it. So this is what it looks like. It is pretty hard when you squeeze it, but Beauty Blender is also quite like that when you first get it. And what the difference is that this part looks pretty much the same as a Beauty Blender, but then it does have this flat part, which I heard is actually really nice. I would think that would be kind of hard, but I can see that it being really nice to blend things out with. And in the comparison to the Beauty Blender, sorry, this is kind of dirty, but it is the size when it's dry. This is the size of Beauty Blender, and this is the size of the Real Techniques sponge. And it's just a little bigger, but I think it's just because of this flat part right here. They just wanted to make it a little bit more accommodating. So they are pretty much the same size. This one's a little bit more stiff than this one. This one's a little bit more bouncy, but this one's a little bit more stiff. So I'm going to put this both under water to see what happens to them when they're underwater. Okay, so I ran both of them under water and they both got a lot bigger, which I'm really excited about because that's what happens with the Beauty Blender and it works amazingly. And the Real Techniques sponge got a lot more softer and bouncier. Now I do feel a little bit of a difference. This one definitely is more springy and it doesn't have any tension to it really. And this one, when you push it down, there's still a little bit of like stiffness to it, but it's not too bad, and it's very soft and really nice. So I'm going to apply my foundation. I already applied primer to my face, and I'm going to try out this sponge with the Double Wear foundation. And I thought it doesn't really matter which one I use. I use this one a lot with the Beauty Blender. So I'm just going to dot the foundation onto my face like I always do. And I'm going to start using, I'm going to try using the flat side first to put it into my skin. It feels really soft. It's not like hurting. I used the, I tried the Sonia Kashuk beauty sponge that they have, and it looks a lot like the Beauty Blender, so I was really excited to try it out. And when you get it, it's really hard, which I wasn't that worried about because usually when you put it underwater, it's not that bad. I put it underwater, it didn't get any bigger, and it was still rock hard. So when I tried to use it on my face, it's like I was like pushing a rock on my face or something. It was like pouncing on my face like a rock, and it like hurt really bad. So I did not like that one. But this is working really nicely. This is working exactly like my Beauty Blender. It's like a little harder, like in texture. It's a little bit like not as bouncy, I guess. But I really like this flat side a lot because I feel like it's like really putting it into my skin really nicely. I'm going to flip over the Beauty Blender, and just to get into my nose, I'm going to use this part. And that's working really nicely too. Okay, so I finished putting on all of my foundation. When I use the Double Wear foundation, I pour it onto my hand, and a lot of the times when I pour it onto my hand, I put too much on my hand, and I thought that would happen again, but when I use this sponge, I honestly used all of it up, and I don't normally do that, so I don't know if it's because the sponge soaked up some of the products, because honestly that's never really happened where I've used up all the product on my hand. So that was a little weird, but it did give me really great coverage. It looks really flawless. Like I said, it isn't as soft as the Beauty Blender, for sure not, but it's not like really hard like the Sonia Kashuk one was. I am liking this so far. I'm going to try this now with concealer underneath my eyes and, you know, on blemishes or something. So I'm going to grab my concealer really quick. I'm going to use the NYX HD concealer, and I'm just going to put that in a triangular shape underneath my eyes, down my nose. I'm going to highlight with it really. And now it's kind of weird because I feel like the Beauty Blender, this one is already kind of dry. It seems weird, but like I feel like it's not like as moist as it was before. I'm gonna run this underwater again just because I feel like it's gonna soak up more product. Okay, so I ran it over water again. Another thing that I kind of saw was when I went to go wring it out, I feel like I had to really like squeeze really hard to get all the water out. And when I did, I feel like it's not as like moist as I want it to be, but it's still doing a pretty good job. So I'm going to blend out this concealer and see how it works. Okay, so I finished putting on my concealer and it blended it out pretty nicely, but again, I'm kind of noticing the coverage isn't as good as it is when I use my regular Beauty Blender. Like I feel like it looks really flawless, but it's just not as high coverage as it usually is. So I feel like this kind of soaks up some product in the sponge. So that's one con for sure about it. But overall, it is pretty good. Oh, I also want to tell you that this costs, I believe, $5.99, and if it's not correct, I'll put the price right here. And for the price, this works really nicely. I would not say it's an exact dupe for the Beauty Blender. I still think the Beauty Blender is a lot better than this, but it still does a really great job, especially for the price that you're paying for this. And I would recommend buying this if you didn't want to splurge and get the Beauty Blender. I would definitely recommend this as a cheaper alternative because it is really great. I give this 2 thumbs up. The Chapman sisters did a really great job with this. So that is it for my first impression, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.